everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and today I'm going to be sharing with you my TBR for the month-long readathon, the Book Junkie Trials, hosted by Rachel Marie Book Junkie. I am a member of Team Scribe, which is led by Sophia from Sophisticated Books. I am really excited for this readathon. It is such a unique and interesting idea. So if you don't know how this works, this readathon is actually being split up into 4 teams and then you complete the challenges to earn points for your team. So I decided to only partake in the challenges for Team Scribe because the reading rush is also this month. So I don't want to be too in over my head with all these readathons I'm doing this month, but I really want to participate and I'm really hoping to get to every single challenge in this Team Scribe and maybe some more if I can manage it. So I'm going to take up this crown because it is extremely heavy and annoying, and I'm going to get into my TBR. So how this readathon is working is actually that there is going to be a map and you have to make your way across the map in order to complete the challenges. So on Team Scribe there are Dwarf Mountain, Apothecary Towers, the Great Library, the Drowning Deep and the Bookie Grail. So the challenge for the Dwarf Mountain is you spot a fair tavern wench. However, the dwarf mind's grimy and dusty didn't evoke a very romantic feeling. Read a book with a hint of romance to get you in the mood. So I've actually chosen 2 books for this prompt. The 2 books that I have chosen are Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I've also chosen to reread one of my favourite books of all time, Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. So the reason that I have chosen 2 books for this prompt is that I really wanted to read both of these books, but each team has a weakness and an ability. So being in Team Scribe, I have the ability to change my TBR during the readathon, but I have to read a book that is over 500 pages. So every single book that I'm reading for the readathon that I chose is around about 450 pages. So I've decided to read 2 books for these challenges so that way I can read a book that is over 500 pages. This book is 668 pages. I've already read it I think 2 or 3 times, so it shouldn't take me that long. So Lady Midnight follows Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne after the events of the Mortal Instruments as they kind of struggle to readjust back into life as shadow hunters, and they try to continue their life with the oldest Blackthorns missing. So while Emma is trying to solve the mystery of who murdered her parents, the wild hunt who would take Mark Blackthorne 5 years prior offer his return in exchange for solving a bunch of murders that are going on. This is my favourite series of all time and I've really been wanting to reread it since Queen of Air and Darkness came out because I've never got to marathon the series before, as I read every book as it came out. So I'm just beyond excited. I've already read Lady Midnight a few times, I've read Lord of Shadows a few times, but I've only read Queen of Air and Darkness once, so I'm planning on rereading this entire trilogy because it's just so dear to me and I love it so much. So Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is supposedly being pitched as 6 of Crows in space. So I don't know too much about it, but I know that it's set in the year 2380 and it follows a group of, I think, students from the Aurora Academy, and they have to complete some mission or task. I'm not really too sure, but I've just heard that it's so good and I'm so excited to get to it. So the next challenge is Apothecary Towers, where the wizards dwell. They have blindfolded you and randomized all your books. Choose a book at random from your bookshelf. I'm just going to randomly pick a book from my bookshelf and we'll see how it goes. I'm really happy that I do have the ability to change my TBR because this could end really badly, but let's see. So, here we go. So I ended up choosing Enchantée by Gita Trellis. This is a historical fantasy book set in France in 1789. I actually have already started this book. I think I got to page 139, but I just wasn't in the mood for it, didn't end up finishing it, but I definitely didn't DNF it, I just put it on hold. So I'm really glad that I ended up choosing this one because that way I get to finish it. So this book follows a girl named Camille. Yes, so a girl named Camille, and her family are starving, but she has the ability to turn stuff into gold, so she uses that to be able to feed her family, and then I believe she gets involved in some like casino thing and she sort of uses magic to cheat at gambling in order to win money for her family. So this really intrigued me. Part of my family is from France, so I was really excited about it because while I'm Australian, I'm only 2nd generation Australian. I'm actually French, Croatian and English. All my grandparents are immigrants. So I was really excited to read a book. I'm really excited to read a book set in a country where I have ancestors, so that is really interesting and I'm really excited to get to this. So the next challenge is the Great Library. The Great Archives. Find and read a book that has been on your TBR forever. So for this challenge, I'm going to have to go with The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. If you don't know, I am a massive fan of the Folk of the Air series, and I do believe this is set in the same world, but I've never actually read any other Holly Black books, and since the Queen of Nothing is coming out in November, I think it would be really good to actually get to this. So I believe this is set in a world where human and fair folk, they exist together, and there is a sleeping prince, and I believe the main character Hazel wakes the prince or something like that. So she accidentally wakes the prince. And I purchased this book back in 2016 when I was on holiday, and I really wanted to get to it, and I never ended up getting to it, but I think now that I love The Folk of the Air so much, it would be such a great time to finally get to this book. So the next challenge is The Drowning Deep. The whirlpool is so mesmerizing. Read a book with rich world building that will suck you into its own world instead. So I'm going to have to go with A Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I just purchased this book last night on Book Depository, so it hasn't actually arrived yet, but I have been so excited for this book since I saw the cover, because I'm not gonna lie, Charlie Bowater does the most beautiful covers. Look at Aurora Rising, isn't that just gorgeous? I was so interested in it for the longest time, and I finally got it. I think it's just recently came out. I know it was the Owl Crate Book of the Month, so I think it's pretty new. But yeah, it's on its way. So I believe this book follows a librarian, and something happens where the library is sabotaged and a dangerous grimoire is released, and I believe that it includes evil sorcerers and a slow burn romance, and I am so excited to read this book. I haven't read An Enchantment of Ravens, but I've been so interested in it, but I definitely have been more drawn towards A Sorcery of Thorns, and I'm so excited to finally get to this book because it seems like such an interesting read and something that I am so excited to finally get. So when that arrives, I am so excited to read this. And finally, for the final challenge, the Bookie Grail. Here you find a lost manuscript delivered on this forgotten island by a fallen star. Read the great book Stardust. So I believe Stardust is a book chronicling the adventures of Tristan Thorn, and I believe he is trying to win the heart of Victoria Forrester, which is my name, well, my first name anyway. So it is such an interesting book, and I have read a Neil Gaiman book before. I read Coraline, but I wasn't really invested in it. But I am so excited to read this book as a group because I love reading group books. I think I'm going to borrow this one from the library because I'm not really a fan of any of the covers. But I'm definitely going to get to that one. I was going to pick it up today, but today's a Sunday and the library was closed. But yeah, also I've been wanting to read more library books because, as you can tell, I have kind of a book buying addiction, so I tend not to borrow books, so I really want to change that. So those are all the books that I am going to be reading for the Book Junkie trials. I will have the announcement videos and all the channels of the host linked below. I really encourage you to join. I believe you have to have your TBR up by the end of June to participate, and I really hope I get to see some of you guys do it. I will be vlogging my experience in the readathon because I'm just so excited to finally be a part of a month-long readathon. And yeah, make sure to follow me on Twitter if you want to see my updates, or Instagram because I am on Instagram a lot. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I've decided rather than doing a monthly TBR this month, I'm going to do a Book Junkie Trials TBR, a Reading Rush TBR, and then just read whatever else I want to read in between. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!